I think they look. Okay, Space Invaders or jellyfish question. Here we have 3 semicircles, the big black semicircles. And the question is, compare the circumference of the first semicircle with the circumference of the 2 semicircles. So, the 2 red ones. So the first thing we can say, okay, if we know that this diameter is 24, we know that this one is half, so that we know the diameter of the red circle. So if we were to work out the perimeter, the circumference of the black circle, let's call it BC, the black semicircle, then we would know that the formula for circumference is pi times the diameter, or 2 pi r. So in this case it would be 24 pi, but because we've only got a semicircle, we've got half of that. So it's 12 pi. So the circumference of our semicircle in terms of pi is 12 times pi, which we know is 3.14. What about the red one then? Well, if we were to look at the circumference of the red circle, we could actually think of that using the same formula, pi times d, but we don't have to divide it by 2, because here we've got one whole circle. If we add this semicircle to that semicircle, we've actually got one whole red circle. So the formula here would be pi times the diameter of the red circle, which is just 12. But look, 12 pi. Okay, so that it doesn't matter whether you were to walk this way around a lake, or if there was a bridge and you walked this way around the lake, you'd be going exactly the same distance. So when it's semicircles, the first thing we can conclude is that we will always have the same circumference, 12 pi. Let's see what happens then when we instead have 3 semicircles. Well, we already know what the circumference of the black circle is. We know that it's 12 pi. It's the same as this one. But now, what about the circumference here? Well, the diameter of each of these red circles will be 24 divided by 3, giving us 8 centimeters. So the circumference of our red circle here will be 3 lots of a half, 3 half circles multiplied by the diameter of each one, which is 8 centimeters times pi. Now we can simplify this. The 8 divides by 2 to give us 4. So we get 3 4s, 12 pi. Oh look, we get 12 pi when it's 3 semicircles too. We got 12 pi when it was 2 semicircles. We got 12 pi when it was 3 semicircles. What are we going to get over here? The same distance. So it looks, if you look at it, it looks a lot shorter to go the red way, doesn't it? It actually looks like it's a shorter distance. But we are proving mathematically that it may look shorter, but it isn't. So let's have a look now at the red circle again. The circumference of the red circle will be, first we need to know what the diameter of each of the circles is. It's going to be 24. We have 4 of them divided by 4. It's going to be 6 centimeters. So we now know that we have a diameter of 6 centimeters. We have how many? 4 half circles, 4 divided by 2, multiplied by the diameter times pi. Because we have our formula is pi times d for one whole circle. And in this case, d equals 6 centimeters. So we just plug in our formula, we plug in our equation. What do we get here? 6 divides by 2 to give us 3. 4 times 3 is again 12 pi. We're getting exactly as we would expect this pattern to continue. Which means that if I had 10 circles here, 10 semicircles, and split this circle up into that, I'd still end up with 12 pi at the end. So we're showing what happens, and then we say we expect this trend to continue mathematically. Okay?